Hello everybody, Kevin here. Thank you for joining me on Kevin's Way Works. So what I have here is an air filtration box that I built 15 plus years ago, and basically it's made to suck all the dust out of the air in your workshop and collect it in filters in the front and the back, and then it blows it out the side. So this one, I've modified it a little bit because when I installed it, as you'll see in the video, I installed it 180 degrees out of where I wanted it. So basically what it's doing is it's sucking from the back side, blowing out the front side. And I really wanted it to suck from the front side where all the activity is and blow it out the back side. So it works the way it is. So and it was such a pain to get it up there and install it that I decided to leave it in its current position. And as you see, and you'll notice from the video, that I have added on this diverter on the front here. And what that diverter does, and it actually has two purposes. The first issue is this thing was blowing so much air this direction that it was just causing general issues with the insulation and other things. My paperwork would blow all over the place and things like that. So I put that diverter on it for that, and because it's loud. The air flowing from the backside into this room is so loud that it just interferes with videos, and it's just generally annoying. So that diverter helps with both those issues. And I haven't done it yet, and I will make a video on it. I'm going to make a second one of those, and it's going to come around the backside, so it can, and it's actually going to be a half circle. And it will come all the way back around, and it will suck air from this side of the workshop. When I say this side, I mean from the side opposite of what you're looking at. And then that way it'll suck the dust through the backside and filter it better. It's still going to get to it. It's not really going to be any issues. I just figured that would help with the airflow a little bit. As it is now, it's so strong that it just cleans the air in no time. But I'm still going to do it because I think it'll be fun to do. That's what we've got so far. So stay tuned, and I'll show you how to do this Kevin's way. Okay guys, I don't have any audio that was recorded while I made this video, so I'm just going to go ahead and give you a description of what's going on here. So these are the boards that I screwed into the ceiling, and I had to put a little bit of a spacer in there to get the board to fit in properly, and I also cut a notch in the 2x6 so it would give it more grip, so it wasn't relying on just screws to hold everything up. And upcoming here is a back plate, and I just basically what that is a cleat, 45-degree angle, and it's glued and screwed and stapled together, and then it's screwed into the wall itself, and so that gives it plenty of holding power. And so what I'm using here is one of those drywall lifts that you use to raise 4 foot by 8 foot, 4 foot by 12 foot, 4 foot by 16 foot sheets of plywood to install them on your ceiling and walls. So this is more than sufficient to hold this air filtration box. It doesn't weigh a whole lot, maybe 50 pounds at the most, if that. Maybe a little more, including the fan. But anyway, I slid this into place. It was a little sketchy, I'm not going to lie. It held together with pieces of wood and zip ties and short pieces of plywood that barely fit onto it. But anyway, I got it into place. Everything went well. There was no dropping of any air filtration boxes during the making of this video. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just going around, I'm measuring, and I'm pre-drilling the holes so they go up into those blocks that I had screwed through the eye-joists for the floor. And now I'm just contemplating my life's decisions here. And then I'm back to screwing, drilling and screwing. More screws into the ceiling. So this goes on for a little bit because there's a lot of screws and a lot of drilling and a lot of measuring going on. And because I like to be precise, I didn't want to just drill the holes and then screw the screws up into the plywood itself. I wanted to make sure they went through into the 2x6s, so they had a lot of holding power. And so that's what we're doing here. Just some more drilling and more screwing. And then coming around the other side and doing some more drilling and screwing. So one of the things I left out is I had to put a little bit of a spacer in there. So I cut some strips of plywood and I stuck them in the front because I had to compensate. I left a little bit of room for me to be able to get the cleat that's on the air filtration box, to be able to get that to slide in. But then, because at first I was going to angle it, slide it up and in, but I didn't leave myself enough room when I installed the L-shaped bracket that's, you know, a couple feet out from the wall. So it wouldn't fit properly. And so I had to put that spacer in, and you could see I put a couple clamps on each side, or I think I put one clamp on each side, and then I put those spacers in. What else did I do here that you can't see, that I didn't mention before? That's really it. I think I put a bunch of screws. Okay, yeah, so I'm measuring now to drill holes so I can install screws on the outside. And these screws are what help hold the box up in place in that L-shaped bracket. So just a little bit of extra precaution. I mean, in reality, you only really just need one screw to hold that whole thing up. It's not that heavy. This goes on for a while. Screwing and drilling, drilling and screwing, measuring, screwing, drilling, screwing. So basically I'm just measuring it just to be neat. I wanted everything to look good. I wanted to make sure everything was even. And that's just how I like to do my jobs. And so now I am taking the drywall lift down, getting it out of the way because it is no longer needed. And you can see up into the bottom of the box here with the cover off. And basically all it is an opening to the air intake area where the squirrel cage fan is located. And I've showed you that already in previous parts of this video. So if you look in through the intake side where I am facing now, it's basically just all open. And the bottom slider is the actual wall that separates the compartments. So what I'm doing now is I'm using some super lube silicone, and that's just to make it so it slides real easily. So I put it on the groove for the air filtration box, and I put it on the edge of that door. So now I am just carefully aligning it to make sure it slides in okay, and probably wiping a little bit of silicone off, maybe a little chip piece of wood. I really don't remember. And now I'm just giving it another look over to make sure everything looks good. So I'm just sliding it back and forth to make sure the silicone is worked in real good. And now I'm just making sure that everything is in the right position. I did make sure that I was putting it in the right way before I did anything. So it's all good to go. So I'm bringing it up here now so I can show you how everything works on the exhaust side. And this part does have commentary. So here we go. Sorry about it being so dark. I don't have my lights hooked up yet. And I've got this guy here, but I don't have it plugged in. But what we have here is squirrel cage fan. And this is the exhaust side, which is kind of backwards from the way I wanted it. Now that I think about it, I should have had the exhaust side on the other side. Oh well, I'm not moving it now. It'll work just fine. I used to keep it over in a corner over there on top of my dehumidifier, and it would work just fine over there in the corner by itself. And this is the I don't know what you call it, the intake side. And I got this fan probably 20 years ago. I was going to use it for a downdraft table, and never made the downdraft table, and then I had this idea to use it for this, and it's got a crazy number of speeds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 speeds, 5 speeds. And I put this switch on the side here, and you can control all the speeds with it, and it works really well. Alright, I've got you guys lined up so you can see the inside of this unit. I'm going to unscrew those 4 bolts, wing nuts I guess you would call them now. They are actually, so those are actually carriage bolts. They're through a piece of oak, and on the other side there's just a little nut with a big ring on it. I don't even know what the nut is called. So it's a specialty nut. It's kind of got like a washer style end on it that just gives it more surface area. I thought it'd be easier to have something like that than have actual washers that you have to keep track of. All right, so let me see if I can get up here and get this without a ladder. I think I can. And this is not going to come out. I'll show you how it works. So I'll do 2 at a time. Some of them come out pretty easily. The other one's a little, probably would help if I had a little bigger of a hole. That one's out, and I got dust in my eyes. Let's do these 2. That one's out. That one's out. All right, so let's see if I can get over here and show you these. All right, so you can see that's just a carriage bolt, and then this little nut with kind of washer built into it, and that's probably from the automotive supply store, or it came from the automotive section of the home improvement store. And it works good, so just leave it like it is. So the way this works is, this is a 3/4 inch piece of plywood. It has a notch cut in it with a little, it's probably 1/4 inch piece of plywood that sticks out and rides in a channel. These have silicone in them just to help things slide better. Now you got to be careful when you slide these. There's 2 issues. You can pinch your fingers pretty bad, because if you get it up between the board and the slots for the filters, you will pinch your finger, and I've done it. And not paying attention, I have done it. So I'll slide this carefully, because if you just whip it over, all the filters are going to fall out. And so we'll slide it over, and the first filter will drop out. And we're going to catch, because of this cardboard edge here. And so this is a allergen defense filter that's supposed to just have, you know, thicker, smaller holes to catch thinner particles. And so that's my first line of defense. And then behind that is an even finer filter. And so this, I'm trying to find the writing on it. Maximum allergen. So this is supposed to catch even smaller particles. And the theory is, if it gets past the one I just showed you, this one's going to catch almost all the rest. You know, some can still get around the edge, but we're primarily just trying to get the bulk of it. This will probably get, you know, 99.9% of the dust that gets sucked in. So that's that one. And then on the other side, I made this so it would slide under that, as you can see. And it also allows you to take the filter. So here's the other filter. And anything that does make it through gets caught by another one of those same filters that I showed you the first time. And so there's your airflow direction. It took me forever to find it. And that's going to go this way. In the video, I show you this side of the box. So be careful. You can pinch your fingers. So let's get these filters back in. So the allergen, the one that catches the smaller particles, goes in the inside slot with the arrow facing the correct direction. Slide it in, gently slide it over so you don't pinch your fingers. And once it's locked in, you can move your fingers out of the way. And finally, our allergen defense filter goes in. And this one, I was spray painting, and this actually catches all the little spray paint particles. And it was a black spray paint, and you can see them dropping out of it. So this one really needs to be cleaned or replaced. All right, that's back in place. And that is how you do the filters in it. So I'm going to go ahead and screw that back in, and it'll be good to go. I just try to keep them all facing the same direction. Just like I do with my screws and electrical plates. And that's it. Another thing I did, I don't think is on video, is I put a box, an electrical box right there so you can plug it in. All right, I brought you around the other side so you can see how this exhaust port or air redirection, duct redirection, elbow, whatever you want to call it, you can see how it works. And I have this, I think it's 3/4 or 3/8 inch, maybe it's 1/4 inch. But I've got this plywood where all of the grains go in the same direction, so it's very flexible. It's got a particular name, I can't think of it right now. And that's what I use for the curve. So I just glued those up, bent them to the edge of the wood, clamped it, and stapled it. And that worked perfectly. So that holds the curved plywood. And then on the bottom I did the same. And then there's some little pieces screwed in around the face. So it's going to focus on my hand, I'm sorry guys. So up on the face up here, there's little pieces of wood that, and this is all made to take, so you can take it off. So it's screwed on, it's not permanent, there's no glue, it can come off anytime you want it to come off. So it works pretty good. So I'll see if I can get you up there so you can see it a little better. Nothing fancy about it, just leftover scrap wood, leftover screws, and it does make quite a bit of difference in how it sounds over in the other area. So that is it. That is everything I have to show you about it. I really wish I could have done a build video on this, but it was at least 15 years ago that I built this. I don't even remember if I lived in this house. So if I didn't live in this house, I built it at the other house. It's been 17 years. I can probably go back and look at my SketchUp diagram, and it'll have a date on it, and that'll tell me kind of around when I designed it. And we can go from there. So there it is, guys. It works really well, and it's very easy to make. So I hope you enjoyed watching that. And if you did, give it a big thumbs up, give it a like, and subscribe. And thank you guys for watching Kevin's Way Works.